Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. We do have a main conclusion we're making in this video, okay? A lot of people are overly bearish. A lot of people are, not really too many people, but there are people who are overly bullish as well. They've been, their vision's being clouded, rose-tinted glasses of what's happening. They see the support zone, they think we're just going to pump exponentially to the moon. And there's a lot of people who are thinking the opposite. We're going to drop to the downside massively and everything's bearish and we've lost everything. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. And I'm going to be making a very important conclusion in this video. And I think you should stick around for it because I'm looking at 5 charts, okay? We're looking at Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin daily chart. We'll look briefly at Bitcoin short term, but not too much. Ethereum uptrending line, Bitcoin weekly chart, and finally the Bitcoin bear case. So 5 major charts. These 5 charts help give us a major conclusion, but on the daily chart specifically, there's a lot to look into. The medium-term, short-term analysis right now is particularly interesting because we have a move upwards in the last 24 hours, and it might materialize into something. So we have targets. So guys, without further ado, lots to talk about this video and a very important major conclusion to make. Let's get into it. Okay guys, let's get into it. Let's look at the charts we're going to be discussing in this video, and then we'll get into it from there. First and foremost, we're going to be looking at the daily chart, focusing mainly on the structure itself, the move upwards we've seen in the last 24 hours, the RSI, volume, and various downtrending and uptrending lines we'll look at as well. We'll look at Bitcoin dominance quickly, because Bitcoin dominance is actually quite indicative of what Bitcoin generally does next. We'll look as well at the Bitcoin range-bound constructions. In fact, we might move that to first on the list as we generally do. We'll look at Ethereum. Ethereum's quite interesting right now. It has an uptrending macro line, and you can draw that in a couple of different ways. One way is actually more important than the other. We then have weekly chart on Bitcoin, which is giving us a couple targets, what we need to do on the weekly chart. And finally, we'll look at the bear case just to end it off and ground ourselves a little bit and understand. We'll actually start to consider really, well, what are the 2 arguments and which one is stronger, right? That's generally what we do when we look at the bear case. So just a few charts today, 6 charts to get into. It shouldn't take overly long, but then again, every time I say that, it ends up taking the same amount of time. But we'll try our best to keep it as short as possible. Okay, before we get into it though, I do want to quickly check out the VIP group on Telegram. On Telegram, we have the VIP group, Wolves of Crypto VIP. We post trading signals as per this photo here. We post multiple trading signals, multiple trading plans per week. Immediate access to all of the pending trades. You have 24/7 group chat access. We kind of discuss with each other what's going on in the market, what's going on for trades, trading tips occasionally, and also exclusive news and market updates occasionally. Those are the prices there. We have a 79% win rate, and you can check out our trading results on this PDF document in the group, which will be linked in the description below. So go ahead and check that out, guys, and then I think we'll just get straight into it. So as I said, we'll start out with this chart here. This is the range-bound construction chart. There are 3 rectangles on the screen that you will notice. Each of them are slightly different colors. In fact, I'll make this middle one orange just to kind of clarify. So we have 3 different colors. One's red, one's orange, one's green. And obviously, as per general color coding, red is bad, orange is okay, green is good. Okay, so that's generally what I'm going for here. Now, what do we have in the red box? We have a range between around 18.5K and around 15.4K. That is the bottoming range on Bitcoin. If we at any point in time re-enter that range, it is likely that we'll go down and make a new low on Bitcoin. So that is the range we cannot go to. We cannot go below 18.5K. There is no scenario ever that it would be good for us to drop below that level at 18.5K. There is no scenario ever for it to be good for Bitcoin to go into that range. So what about the orange range? Well, the orange range is between 24.5K, remember that number, and 18.5K. Now, this range, technically speaking, is not off limits on a cyclical level. You have to remember the 4-year cycle on Bitcoin is not based on price points, it's based on date range trends. And so technically speaking, yes, we could go back into this range and we could be there for an extensive period of time. As long as we don't go below 18.5, it's fine. And as long as we go back up, to the upside, eventually, probably, towards the end of this year or the start of next year, then it's fine. That's if we go below this 24.5K level. Realistically, this 24.5K level, where I've drawn this yellow line, is a dividing line. It's the line in the sand for Bitcoin. I'm not going to spend too much time discussing it. Everyone knows this by now. It's the place in which we saw 2 rejections on the weekly chart. It's a place in which we saw a bounce and a retest recently as well. So 24.5K is very much the support zone that's keeping us in this current range. It's keeping us above the below range. It's the major level for Bitcoin. And knowing that, we can start looking at daily chart. Because on daily chart, you'll notice this green box I have in the screen here. It actually starts from 24.5k, goes up to 25.2k. 25.2k is where we saw these wicks, okay? So 25.2k is actually the support zone as well. And as per, I've drawn that in daily chart. You can see very strong support, very strong liquidity being provided by 25.2 to 24.5 in this green box. And so for that reason, we're on support for Bitcoin. And I never, ever, ever would ever recommend, in my years of trading, my years of doing this 10 hours a day looking at charts, I would never recommend that people buy Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin, I should say, while you're on major support. In the same way, I would never recommend you buy while you're at major resistance. That's why I was saying up here that you shouldn't be buying. Even though I was leaning bullish, I said you shouldn't be buying over here. And then I said down here, you shouldn't be selling. You should wait for the move to occur. Wait for a drop below the green box, then sell. Wait for a move above the red box, then buy. There's no reason, justifiable reason at all why you are at major resistance or at major support to make any major decisions on a long-term Bitcoin bag. It is completely illogical. Take the 5% loss and sell when we're underneath. Because I'll tell you right now, if we do bounce here, and there certainly is a chance that we do, you will regret selling. Okay, that's just how it works. You don't sell at support, you don't buy at resistance. That's how the market works. You wait for the breakout. Or at least it's how my trading strategy works, and that's a trading strategy that's extremely profitable for me. That's a trading strategy that's led to a 79% win rate on VIP groups. So I'm not just saying things, I have the evidence to back them up. But look, what is going on here on daily chart? Well, if we're zooming in just briefly, and then we'll bring it back to the daily chart, we have, consolidation. We have a kind of, long period, a couple of weeks here of sideways. We went upwards briefly during some ETF news, went right back downwards during some delays. We went sideways again, and now we're just edging upwards again. We haven't confirmed anything yet. We haven't broken anything major yet. But if we do continue upwards here, it'd be excellent, because what we'd actually form, all right, I want you to pay close attention here. If we do go upwards here, okay, what we'd actually form is a double bottom formation. All right, a double bottom formation on a major support zone between 25.2 and 24.5 with a major uptrending yellow line. That's just excellent stuff. I mean, you're not going to get much better than that. So realistically, yeah, it's not done it yet. It's not confirmed a double bottom yet, but it's starting to, and that's great to see. And that's what we want to see. So hopefully Bitcoin can continue upwards. And what do we need to break to confirm this being a double bottom? Is it any of these lines here? Yes, these lines are important, but that's actually not what we're looking at. What we're looking at for Bitcoin to confirm a double bottom formation is actually a breakout on the RSI. We want to be breaking this downtrending line on the RSI, stemming back, as you can see, from June 2023, going all the way through to a retest in August. If we break that downtrending line on the RSI to the upside, it is very likely that Bitcoin will continue upwards in the price chart, start retesting some of these levels, and at that point, it'd be very likely we break those levels, seeing as we've retested them before, and go upwards from there. And that would confirm a nice double bottom formation, and that would confirm a great bounce from this support zone. So Bitcoin does actually, in contrasting to popular opinion right now, Bitcoin does actually have a relatively stable scenario, I should say, in which it goes upwards from this support zone. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and say that Bitcoin is bullish right now necessarily. I don't necessarily think it is. I think that there are bullish signs. There are signs that we go upwards. I don't think Bitcoin is outright bullish. I'm not going to sit here and take a strong opinion on Bitcoin right now. I don't think the evidence suggests that we have any relevant TA to take a strong opinions on Bitcoin right now. You can't really take a strong opinion on this price range. And there's a reason for that. Yeah, it's like, well, Bitcoin's technically looking bearish, all right? Yes, we have a head and shoulders formation spanning throughout the entirety of 2023. We broke that neckline to the downside. That should be targeting this yellow line down here. Realistically, we should be going downwards a lot on Bitcoin and retesting a 6-year uptrending yellow line in the low 20Ks. So again, macro scale, we should be going downwards, okay? But then you look into the weekly chart and you start to think, oh, well, we also have a Gaussian channel, okay? And we've never, ever lost the Gaussian channel center line after getting above it without seeing a major move. Never. So in the entire price history of Bitcoin, every time we lose the Gaussian channel, we move through it and we see a major move in that direction. Okay, move through it. As you can see, every time we move through this thing, we see a major move in the direction which we came from. We've seen that 8 times in Bitcoin's price history. Okay, 8 times. Now, we've moved through the Gaussian channel center line. All right, we haven't seen a major move. And now we're coming back down. And if we lose the center line again, we'd have to lose 24.5K. Okay, so here's the problem with being overly bullish or overly bearish right now in short and medium term. It's very simple, really. We have a Gaussian channel trend that is supporting 24.5K that has never been broken ever, not once. Okay, it's got a 0% failure rate. Okay, at the same time, we've got bearish macro. It's like, well, you can't be bearish there. You can't, it goes against everything I believe in TA, right? To be bearish going into a trend that has a 0% failure rate. That's not how TA works. I'm not saying you should be bullish either. I'm just saying you should be sitting on the sidelines at this point in time. Okay, and if you're already in the market, you should be waiting for a directional move. Wait for a breakdown and then sell. If we don't break down, then hold your position. Okay, simple as that. But I think certainly there is a chance that Bitcoin remains above support here. I do think so. I think that the ETF rumors, the ETF news, all right, that's been springing up on Bitcoin ever since basically we broke into this range, has kept Bitcoin stable. I believe that we've seen very low volume. I believe that we've seen very low volatility for this 6-month period for a reason. I believe the reason is that people have been holding. They've been waiting for fundamental news. They haven't been trading in this price region. They've been waiting to see what's happening with the ETF. We still haven't found out what's happening with the ETF. And so it makes sense. It would make sense to me if Bitcoin held the line. It also would make sense to me if Bitcoin went down, and this is where I get into what I said before. I don't have a strong opinion on Bitcoin right now. I'm simply reacting to the circumstances. I'm reacting to the situation. But I will say this, I don't think it's as bearish as people think it is. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think that Bitcoin's destined to go down. I don't think that at all. I think that all we need to do really to trigger an upside move is break this RSI line to the upside. I think if we do that, we'll be breaking above these lines here, and then Bitcoin will be back in good territory. It's really as simple as that. So do I think the Bitcoin is bullish or bearish? I don't have a strong opinion on it. I really don't. But I can say this, it's not as bearish as some people think it is. And that's my opinion on Bitcoin on this daily chart right now. And I think the move we've seen to the upside in the last day has been good. Hopefully that progresses into something better. Hopefully that progresses into a break of this RSI line. If it does, then we're going to be in a pretty good position for Bitcoin. We'll have to wait and see, and we'll have to monitor it. As for Bitcoin dominance, I think the Bitcoin dominance does support the bullish argument. And Bitcoin dominance, generally forms these triangle formations. You'll notice that at the times of these breakouts, right, January 13th, okay, March 13th, when were these breakouts happening? All right, well, you go back to January 13th on Bitcoin, and January 13th, when was it? Well, it was at the time of the breakout here, January 13th, March 13th. Okay, you see more of them. We saw another breakout here in June 8th, okay? June 8th, when was that? That's when we saw an upside move on Bitcoin. The point is, these Bitcoin dominance triangles, okay, if they form a bullish structure, it generally leads to upside moves for Bitcoin, or at least happens with them. And we've got another bullish structure forming here. We've got a descending channel forming here. And so if that breaks to the upside, it would be likely to see an upside move on Bitcoin. The problem with descending channels is they generally go downwards for a long period of time before breaking upwards, but we are on support as well. This is where I get into what I said before. I'm not actually overly bearish on Bitcoin right now. I don't think you can be. I don't think if you're being intellectually honest, I don't think if you're using the tenets of what investing and trading actually is, you can logically be bearish short term. And I don't think you should be bullish either. I think you can just be neutral on the sidelines. I think that's the best position to take right now. Ethereum I want to talk about as well, because Ethereum is actually quite important for Bitcoin. It does sometimes lead to bounces on Bitcoin, or at least, again, at least they happen together, which would make sense. They are conjoined markets. And right now, we've got support for Ethereum, and Ethereum is in basically this red descending channel formation, vaguely on support, and that's good. Generally speaking, descending channels break to the upside, so it wouldn't be surprised to see that eventually. And we do also have, on the logarithmic chart, an uptrending yellow line, an uptrending yellow support line, which is not too far away from the current price zone. And I think that there is a chance that Bitcoin tests that, Ethereum tests that without Bitcoin breaking down. And I think you can also draw it differently. You can also draw this ascending line like this, in which case, as you can see, we'd have more retests, and in which case Ethereum would be on very immediate support, and this bounce would start to make sense. Okay, so I think, Ethereum is quite indicative of maybe what Bitcoin is going to do right now, which could be a bounce. Who knows? It also could be, depending on how you draw it, and that's the problem, right? Depending on how you draw it, really. It could be a reason for Bitcoin to go down a little bit further before bouncing from there, or we could just break down entirely, and it could exacerbate the move downwards on Bitcoin. Again, I've said it like 3 times now. I'm going to say it one more time, and then I'm going to stop boring you. I think that Bitcoin is in a pretty neutral position right now. I actually don't think that Bitcoin is bearish. I don't think that Bitcoin is overly bullish either. I think that there's been bearish things that's happened. I think there's been bullish things that's happened. And I think the best position you can possibly take on Bitcoin right now is one of a neutral stance. I really do. And I'm saying that from someone who's experienced this period of the market on 2 occasions now, in terms of 2019 and this time now. I'm saying this from someone who's looked through every single possible Bitcoin chart you can look through. I'm saying this from someone who's looked at charts 9-10 hours a day for years. I think right now the best position you could possibly take on Bitcoin is a neutral one. I think that infecting your bias into Bitcoin right now is not a good idea. Do I think there's a reasonable chance we follow something like 2019 and go downwards further and retest this uptrending yellow line at the bottom of the screen? Yeah, I do think there's a reasonable chance of that. But I also know for a fact that you can't be confident of anything like that happening until 24.5k is lost. 24.5k is the line in the sand for Bitcoin. There is hope at this point in time. Hopefully this daily move develops into something. Hopefully we break out of this RSI line. We'll have to wait and see. That's my conclusion. Guys, thanks for watching. Check out the BingX exchange. BingX exchange, we have a promotion right now. It is a spin the wheel promotion. Sign up using my referral link and complete these tasks down on the screen here, and you'll be able to spin this wheel and get a cash bonus straight up. No links attached, just cash up to 100 USD. Also, check out the exchange in general. It's a non-KYC exchange. You can sign up from anywhere in the world with just an email address and the password, and you can use this exchange. Very low trading fees and a 15% trading fee discount with my referral link. Bitget is my other sponsored exchange from this channel. They are a KYC exchange, and you can sign up from anywhere in the world, excluding the US, excluding Canada, and excluding Singapore. But if you want to KYC, if you want to link your identity to exchange, which is easier for certain reasons, tax reasons, for example, there's benefits of it for sure. Then you can use this exchange, and you can get a 15% trading fee discount with my referral link. I've used this exchange for over about 2 years now, about a year and a half. And yeah, it's great, so go ahead and do that as well. And then we've got Crypto Academy. If you want to learn how to trade, this is the place you can do it. The Become a Trader course, it's literally in the title, Become a Trader. It's a 10-unit course that teaches you everything you need to know about trading. We've got the bio on the website. You can read up all about it. It will take 40 hours to complete for the average person, so it's pretty substantial in content. And again, it will teach you everything you need to know. Unit topics, we've got the email address up there, we've got the number of students, everything you need to know is on the website. Check it out. Guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.